紳士、ピッチは単純です。市場にはたくさんの人間工学的キーボードがありますが、それらはすべて一つの致命的な欠陥を持っています。
キーボードから手を離して、ある時点でマウスに触れる必要があります。
キーボードがマウスだったら？
それは良いです。しかし、我々はそれを何を呼ぶつもりですか？
ああ、私の脳は挙げられています。私の上司は私が知っているだろうが、無知な働き蜂。
マウスボード。
いいえ。それはでなければなりません。キーマウス。
はい。ブリリアント。大好きです。
アハベリーファニーガイサンクス。
LMAO ローレル。ポルトン。チームへようこそ。
サンクスベリーマッチあるある母べ。
And that's pretty much how we imagine this product came to be. Yes, it is in fact a real thing. The key mouse, and it really works exactly the way that you would think it does. Hey James, remember how I said that I was really excited to try this out and learn to use it and tell our audience about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. And a 1, and a 2, and a have fun.
My head.
The Moss backpack is back in stock. Utilizing a removable sunglass pouch, longer straps for larger shoulders, available power management to help charge your gear, and backed with a 5-year warranty, it's pretty sick. Check it out at the link below.
If you've been following our escapades with weird or ergonomic keyboards, then you'll recognize some familiar features when you look at the Keymouse Alpha. For starters, it's a split keyboard, with each side having a contoured, integrated wrist rest. And this, of course, lets you spread your hands out as wide as your shoulders, which is dank if you got wide-ass shoulders, and optimizes the position of your wrist to prevent the three main causes of repetitive stress injuries, which are ulnar deviation, which is when your wrists go like this, is no good, extension, and pronation, which is when your hand is laying flat on the keyboard. This kind of handles all three. Next, it has these thumb clusters, which I personally, after having switched the ErgoDocs over like a year and a half ago, cannot live without now. It just doesn't make any sense to use one of your strongest digits only on the spacebar. So Keymouse has 4 keys with Cherry MX switches, blue in this case, brown on this one, accessible by each thumb. Then there's the layout, which is similar to the one on the Kinesis Advantage 2, another great keyboard. First, it's ortholinear, which means that the keys are aligned instead of staggered, which is a real pain if you're not used to using your middle finger to hit C like a good little typist, but I got used to it eventually. And it feels good now. Second, the keys are in these concave key wells. They're not as deep as on the Advantage 2, but it still keeps your fingers from having to stretch as far as they normally would on a traditional flat QWERTY. And finally, there's only about 60 keys in total, which is obviously a lot less than your typical 104 key layout. So you're gonna have to get used to switching between function layers using these little blue and yellow keys. Kind of a drag. Now, some secondary functions like the arrow keys and the numpad are actually pretty easy to use once you get used to switching layers, because you can rely on the muscle memory that you already have to hit them. But other things you'll have to learn from scratch. Like, since when are parentheses over here? And why is caps lock on a secondary layer? And while I'm at it, where are all the number keys? All of those special characters have moved, which can be really annoying when you're trying to use your password muscle memory. Surely they could have included the number row. No? Well, maybe not. Yes, they could technically do it, but that would come with the trade-off of adding more weight, which is yucky, because remember, each one of these is a mouse. It's actually comical how bad I am with the left mouse, especially since I'm left-handed, but this is actually pretty cool because for the first time in my life, I can move the mouse around without taking my fingers off the home row. And if you're the type to get a strained neck or shoulder, then this is a godsend because you no longer have to reach way out for your mouse. Yes, it does take some getting used to. Don't worry, you still only have one cursor on the screen, but each module is a fully functioning mouse with its own optical sensor, its own left and right clicks, and its own mouse scroll wheel that you can even click. So you're free to use whichever mouse you want to and switch between them at will. You can even use one on the far right side of your multi-monitor setup and then kind of hand off the cursor to the left when you get on that far side of your super ultra wide display like I have. But you can't like move them together to try to double your movement speed or anything crazy like that, because Windows only accepts really one input at a time. There are a couple of extras though. You can hold this sniper type button to temporarily drop your sensitivity for finer control, and since you can't easily pick up the mouse when you get to the edge of your mouse pad or an uncomfortable position, this special little snowflake button pauses mouse movement so that you can get your hands back in place without moving the pointer. As for how well it works as a mouse though, the thing that was weird for me, especially at first, was that with a regular mouse, there's a certain intuitiveness to pointing around at things on your desktop, as if the cursor is an extension of your index finger. By comparison, the Keymouse felt more like fisting around and squeezing, because the mouse click is accessible by your thumb. One solution I had to make it feel more natural was to put the clicks up here instead of on the side. At least then, first-time users wouldn't find themselves accidentally smashing the J key all the time like I did. But apparently earlier versions of the product did have them up there, and then customers reported pain after extended use. Plus, some people actually like to grip the palm rests instead of keeping their hands on the keys when they move around, so the buttons got in the way over there. Overall, it definitely works well enough, but I think that it's safe to say that you're not going to achieve the same precision as a regular mouse, probably ever. But what if you didn't have to move the whole module? Introducing the Keymouse Track. Now with this version, you get a trackball for each hand. And because it's stationary, you also get a buttload more keys, including the number rows, which is awesome, and the front mounted clicks that were on my wish list, which would be sick, except that they don't line up with this finger, they line up with this finger, which is gash. Thankfully, there's a third option. As long as your hands are big enough, this little post guy up here is also a left click. But wait, there's more. Keymouse also sells mounting brackets. That let you strap these puppies to your chair like you're on the bridge of the heckin' Starship Enterprise. It's crazy. Your colleagues may raise an eyebrow, but only because they covet the splendor that you alone revel in. Seriously though, it does really feel like the interface you've always wanted, and it's ergonomic AF. If only it weren't equally jank. Not only are the mounting brackets attached with Velcro straps that can irritate bare arms, but the brackets themselves, sold for $45, are plastic, so the whole thing ends up flexing under your keystrokes. It's like having a mechanical keyboard with no backplate, or even negative backplate. Plus, one of mine straight up broke. These suck, they need to be metal, and bolt to the chair. So I guess we're talking about the weak points now. Keymouse opted to go all in on 3D printing, which gives them an advantage in terms of rapid prototyping and the ability to offer multiple SKUs. Like there's multiple sizes of the Keymouse Alpha, it's awesome. But while none of the alternative keyboards I've tried have matched the finish of mass market products from say Corsair or Logitech, and while as far as 3D printed objects go, these are actually pretty nice, there are still a bunch of irregularities or maybe artifacts in the finished product. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it definitely contributes to a cheaper look and feel. Hey, but at least they give you nice braided cables instead of cheaping out like Ergodox. Yes. Wow! But that said, it's unlikely that you'll even ever really need them because these are the first Ergos I've seen that are Bluetooth with a USB rechargeable 1,400 milliamp hour battery in each module. Another strong point for these keyboards is their intuitive and robust software that lets you customize just about anything you can imagine. You can remap all the keys, all the buttons, and even the mouse wheels on up to 6 layers. You can make each mouse module have a different DPI, or make the mouse motion a different function, like using one trackball as a scroll wheel. You can make a single click register as a key combination like Alt F4, and you can program full-on macros, as long as you have the software running in the background. Slight demerit there. So then, is this the ergonomic keyboard to buy? Well, it's $500. That's extreme for a keyboard. But to put it in context, ergonomic keyboards are typically around $350, which merely makes it expensive in the ergonomic space. And if you take the mouse out of the equation, I'd put the Keymouse about on par with the Advantage 2 as far as ergonomics and features. So the question becomes really whether having an integrated wireless mouse is worth $150. And I guess that depends on you and your RSI. If it's shoulder related and can't be solved simply by switching to a vertical mouse, then the Keymouse could be your best and only option. Unless you want to mess around with foot pedals or something, but So my advice then is to poke around Keymouse's forum, where people, many of whom have tried a ton of the different ergonomic keyboards that are available on the market today, post reviews and are happy to answer all your newbie questions. So thanks for watching, guys.
Speaking of newbies, no sponsor wants James doing their reads, so I'm back to tell you guys about FreshBooks is the small business accounting software that's custom built for how you want to work. And if you're a freelancer or a small business owner, it's a simple way to be more productive, more organized, and to get paid faster. With FreshBooks, you can create and send professional looking invoices in less than 30 seconds. You can set up online payments with just a couple of clicks to get paid up to 4 days faster. You can see when your client has seen your invoice for the first time to put an end to the guessing games, and you can take the entire experience with you on the go with their fully featured apps for both Android and iOS. So for an unrestricted 30-day free trial, go to freshbooks.com/techtips. We're gonna have that linked below, and make sure you enter Linus Tech Tips in the How Did You Hear About Us section. So thanks for watching, guys. If this video sucked, you know what to do, but if you wanna be supportive for James, or if you genuinely liked it, you can hit that like button, get subscribed, or check out the link to where to buy the stuff we featured in the video description. Also linked in the description is our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one and that one, and our community forum, which you should totally join.